Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of Rising Stories podcast. I'm Corrine Sandifer, your host. As a business and life coach working with local business owners, I started this podcast to help empower some of my clients, to let them hear from other business owners and hear their tips, stories, and keys to success. But you don't have to be a business owner to enjoy this podcast because we talk about everything from books, life struggles, favorite apps, and so much more. It's my hope that by hearing these stories, it will empower you to rise to success in your story. In this Season 2, I am featuring influential women in Nashville, Tennessee. Today on episode 88, I'm talking to Lori Paranjape. Find out how she went from being an English Lit major to now running one of the top full-service design firms in the city. Mrs. Paranjape, as her thousands of followers on Instagram call her, is a true businesswoman. She knows how to work hard and find her way around obstacles to achieve her ultimate goals in the design world. Lori has designed a number of amazing homes in and around Nashville, Tennessee. She has won countless awards for her work in luxury retail boutique and home design. You might have seen her work in Domino Magazine, HGTV, and People, just to name a few. Listen as we chat about how she built her business and her advice on what you can do today to change the look of your home. But before we begin, I want to tell you that today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. If you have listened long enough to me, you know that I love books. But sometimes I just don't have time to read everything I want to read. So I've been listening to audiobooks in my car. I am currently listening to Pitch Perfect by Bill McGowan. This book will teach you how to network effectively and how to give an awesome speech. Plus, the folks at Audible will give you this download for free with your 30-day free trial. Just click on the link below or in the show notes for your free Audible trial at www.audibletrial.com/rising stories. And now here is my conversation with Lori Paranjape. Hi, Lori. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. You have got this buzz going on in Nashville. And people are, and you've got a big following on Instagram. And are you on Facebook as well?
I am not much of a Facebooker professionally. I mean, it's there, but Instagram is really my way to hang out with the people that I've met through Instagram.
Well, and I think Instagram is so great for anything that is to me, eye candy. You know, it's a little bit harder for me because I'm a podcaster, so everything is audio. But for
sure.
an interior designer. And now tell me, how do you describe yourself?
Well, so my education is in English literature. So I do not have a design degree. Wow. So I have tons of respect for those who went through the design schools and are ASID members, and I have so much respect for that. But that is not my path that has led me to where I am now. So the common term that I am referred to is as a designer, and never want anyone to take any sort of objection to that who has their degree, although it is what my daily job is.
Yeah. So would you describe yourself as a decorator? Or
I think that would probably be the technical term for what I do, although a lot of what I do is new home construction.
Really? Okay.
So it's a little bit of a difficult terminology while I'm trying to be respectful to the people who went to title.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so So for people who don't understand what that is, it's you're going in and you are like designing and planning where everything is going.
Yes, when it depends, every job is so very different, but I very often work with a client. I'm brought in by the client or the builder, or the client after they have a builder. And we will begin with concept of what sort of house they want to live in. Do they want 2 stories? Do they want a basement? Are they, do they have horses and they want a barn, or all of the concept? And then I work hand in hand with architects to plan the house. And I come in all different phases. Sometimes clients will come to me with a plan, and we do plan review. So I ask lots of questions about lifestyle and getting to know the client. So an example I use often is I have clients who live out west, right at the foothills of Tahoe, and they were showing me their house plans that they already have when they hired me. And I said, so tell me what you do. And they ski. And right then we stopped. I said, well, then this house is about to look really different if you ski, because we can't come in and there's a little open cubby for you and your family, because that's not going to work. So that's very much a part of what I do, is designing the houses to work for the families who will live there.
So you really, I'm a coach, I'm a business and life coach. So you really you're doing a little bit of coaching, because you're actually pulling out some things that they're doing that is true to them and their lifestyle, asking those questions that makes them think, oh, yeah, this is how we live. And it almost, it's kind of a really cool thing, because you're helping them find the best in their life, the best thing for their home and the way that they function, the way they live. And, I think that's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I say a lot. I really think that beautiful is easy, and we can make a beautiful space, but if it doesn't work for the family who will live there, it's a little bit of a waste of the largest investment they'll ever make. So I think what's essential is that the house is built to work for the family. We're building custom homes, so let's make it custom. And that's not to say we don't want it to be sellable, but we want it to work and function for the family who is investing in it. So it begins with function, and then the form is just what we do to make it pretty, which people don't always need an expert to make it pretty. But I do think getting some good advice on making it function is pretty important.
Yeah. Where did you grow up? Are you a Nashville native?
No, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
And my family has since, for the most part, moved out of Cincinnati. But I grew up in Cincinnati. I graduated from the University of Cincinnati with a degree in English literature and a focus on journalism. And I was a TV news reporter for very beginning of my grown-up life. Life. So I interned down in Charlotte, North Carolina for a TV station, and I got my first television job in East Tennessee, and then very quickly got another job in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is where I was a news reporter. And my future husband was a sports anchor, and we met there. And when he got a job to leave Knoxville for Memphis, I stayed home, and that's when we started a family. So that was the end of journalism for me, and stayed home with kids. And we had 2, and had 2 children in Memphis, and I stayed home. And all the while, though, I was sort of working on this hobby I had, which was helping people with their homes and helping, make our house more beautiful for our family. And it sort of was a fast evolution for me.
Wow. And when did you know, like, this is really taking off? When was that?
Probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
I was probably working at this for 4 years. Before I knew that, before I trusted in the longevity of it, and really believed that something I could make a career out of. And I do think I came to it with a little bit of trepidation about not having the degree and not having that education. And, I didn't take perspective drawing classes, and I didn't take CAD classes. And some of that technical stuff is not my background. And so I think I really felt like I needed to prove myself and work at educating myself and learning what there is to learn, and learning from these spectacular builders and designers and other people who kind of came before me to learn the trade.
So have you since gone back to get some of those certifications and training? No, you haven't.
No.
So is there anything?
Well, now I have people who do that for me. So
Gotcha.
I have,
okay.
So now I have an assistant who is, she's an interior designer, and she does CAD work for me. And now we just hired another designer who is an interior designer, and she also does CAD and SketchUp, and she can handle all of those. So document preparation is a piece of cake, and I guide it, and they produce the documents for me.
So what advice would you give to someone who was in your situation where they don't have that? I mean, obviously you don't want to, we're not talking to people who want to be doctors and want to operate, but talking to someone who is like,
Please don't.
Right, please don't, or at least don't practice on me. But it's like who want to be in a career, but it's like kind of like, just go ahead and do it. Like jump in there. And what advice would you give to people who are wanting to do something, maybe something similar or exactly what you're doing, but don't have that certification or those trainings? What advice would you give?
I think the people that I would be speaking to are probably people who would be listening to a podcast like this, and people who follow you and look to you for advice, this is about, in my opinion, this is about drive and dedication and hustle. Exactly. I'm a firm believer in hustle, and I work tirelessly. I work hard. I work hard to learn. I try to learn from every mistake that I make, and use it to make me stronger and better. I think that there is some talent that's there, an eye or, a knack, so to speak. But education cannot help nor hinder that. There's sort of an innate quality to my particular field. So, but you could relate that to being an artist and whether or not you have a degree in fine arts, or whether you're a photographer, whether you have an education background in photography, that there's a knack, there's a natural quality to it. The rest of it, in my opinion, is pure hustle. Is the dedication to figuring it out and working so hard at understanding and learning and meeting clients where they are and meeting clients where you are, and running into a hurdle that says, boy, if I had a degree in this, I could whip out the document for you. Let's figure this out.
Right.
I will pay a draftsman to draw this for me. I will say, this is exactly what I want. And can you, I'll pay for it. I'll figure it out. I think the drive is everything. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. That's really good advice. Really good advice. It is about it's the passion. And if you really want it bad enough, you're going to find a way. Like you said, you're going to hire the right people and surround yourself now. Like you've got your two designers, and
they make up for my weaknesses.
Yeah.
That I have a team who supports. I'm not great at accounting.
That's right. And we hire accountants. Yeah.
Accounting is not one of them for me. I need an accountant.
Yeah.
I need someone who follows paperwork. Designers, a lot of really talented designers fail at business because they're superb designers and not so great at the business.
Yeah.
So the situation, the professional relationships that I have support my weaknesses, so I can do the thing that I'm good at, which is client relations and design.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm freed from the things that are my weaknesses.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Very good point. And to understand, not try to do it all, understand that you can, barter if you're, not making as much money, barter here and there, ask for favors and just get it done. And if you do have that passion, you'll get it done. Yeah.
Right. It's about figuring it out. And again, like we started this, which is that's the hustle. Mm-hmm. It's not about the money. It's about the hustle. Yeah. So if there's a will, there's a way, and I had the will, so I figured out the way.
What advice would you give to someone who, let's say they're a single mom and they want to spruce up their home and but they don't have a whole lot of money, but maybe they have $100 or $200. Let's say they have $200. What advice would you give them? Like where to spend that? Should they buy lamps or,
I think the very first piece of advice I would give is to use the resources, free resources that are more readily available today than they ever have been. Instagram, Pinterest, House. You learn, look at an image and see. We all see things that we adore. So examine what that is. What is it that you adore in that photo? Or do you just die for those lamps? Is it the styling on the cocktail table? Is it the piece of art? What is it in the image? Take it apart. Usually the sofa, in most cases, is neutral. Everything in the image typically is not dynamic. So there's probably something. I have people show me things. Show me what you love. Show me a kitchen you love. Show me a bedroom you love. And they'll show me image after image that has common denominators. And I'll say, what you really love is, and I'll ask the question back to them. So is it it's a 4-poster bed? Is that what blows your mind? Is that where we're going? What is it? Is it the layers of neutral textures? Well, you can get layers of neutral textures at Home Goods. Yeah. And $200 well spent. So you have a neutral sofa, you have a neutral room, you have light balls, all of that. So maybe what you're investing in is $200 worth of pillows, which if you only have $200, that's a lot of money to spend on pillows. But if it transforms your space, in my estimation, it's $200 well spent.
Yeah. And taking, I think one of the best advice I've ever gotten about my home and decorating, and it's not perfect and it's not wonderful, but there are certain parts of it that are. Someone said, it's a process and enjoy the process. You can, if you have a whole lot of money, you can hire Mrs. Paranjape and just go, and she's going to snap her fingers and it's all going to be done.
That's right.
And that is magical. Awesome. But if you don't have that, then just, enjoy the process. Like adding, I always add things that I absolutely love. Like, I do love that. And I love your advice. That's true about.
So that's so smart. And I think what you're doing is the way to do it. I think we build on the things that we love. We invest in the things that we love. The opposite idea that I think is also good advice is do not invest in the things that you don't love. So you have let's say your husband's leather recliner. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we? So the leather recliner, and they're like, well, we already have the leather recliner. I think I'll just go ahead and get, the matching leather sofa. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going to waste money twice. What we should do is not do that. Let's not build on the thing you don't love.
That you don't love. That's good.
Let's not invest in the things that we don't love. So we have something that's a little bit of a flaw. Let's not highlight it. And now we have 2 leather elephants in the room. Yeah. So let's encourage ourselves away from the thing and distract the eye from the thing that you don't love toward the thing that you do.
Right. Let it be the thing that you're not really looking at, because you're looking at the wonderful sofa that's over here with the real cool pattern.
Dazzled. by the
Yeah.
rest of it. That's right.
And the
That's
$200 worth of pillows that I'm thinking about doing myself. That's a great
That's
advice.
right. That's exactly right.
Great advice. I think that would really make my couch pop. You know, I'm having this flashback, and this is really, you're going to laugh. I don't recommend this, people, but when I was newly married, someone gave us a couch, and it was a sofa sleeper. So I was really excited because like we had like a 1-bedroom apartment. And so when people came over or family, they could sleep on the sofa sleeper, and that was, in our living room. But I didn't like the color. So I took some fabric and a staple gun, and and I just went to town and just staple gunned all kinds of things. And I think I had my girlfriend who knew how to sew do the pillows. But you know what? Right. No one noticed. Nobody noticed that it was like, because I hid the staple gun, staples very well. The staples, yeah.
Right.
And so, but like, just get creative, and get that.
And I have been there. I've had the DIY ottoman in our first house, and that poor ottoman had so many layers of recovering. And at the time I was like, all I need is 1.5 yards. Mm-hmm. I can do anything for 1.5 yards of fabric, and brought that sucker to life more than once, and had all the staple guns and hot glue and the whole thing. Uh-huh. I did what you did.
Yeah. But when you find a piece that you like the comfort of it, like right now I have a velvet purple, just a beautiful love seat, although it doesn't really go in my office. It's in my office because I love it. But at the same time, it's like, I'm sure I'll recover it one day because
sure.
It'll just come with me and just everywhere I go. So,
right.
Yeah. But I was like, I don't know what happened to that couch, but it's gone. I graduated to a real couch.
Bless its heart.
Yeah. But just, you have to do what you can. And you're right. There are so many great free resources out there. Like, you used to had to buy magazines, and magazines weren't cheap,
I remember.
And now you can just, like, it's all on your phone.
It's right there. I remember. So it was very influential to me. My mom redecorated our house when I was in high school, and we did a major renovation on the house, and we expanded the kitchen and made a family room out of a garage, and then built a garage and did all of this stuff. And she had custom drapes made for the first time. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm going to show my age. It was chintz, cabbage roses, and it had all of fancy window treatment stuff that we don't do a whole lot of anymore, with the cascades and the jabots, and it was mauve on the other side as it pleated, and the sofa matched, and it was all of this. Wow. And she did the kitchen, and she had a cherry kitchen and granite was new in the kitchen world at the time, but she had stacks from the magazines, and that was her splurge. Is she would go buy Arc Digest and House Beautiful, and buy these beautiful magazines and pull tear sheets, and that was $6 a pop to buy those, and hope that you would love something inside that you could use. And now we have thousands and millions of images that we use, that really, if you look through your bank of images that you've saved, there are common threads. Yeah, you can see what you love, even if you can't put your finger on it to begin with. Mm-hmm. But boy, if you look back, you'll find that you are you're a slip-covered white sofa girl, or you are a vintage rug girl. Every time you see a vintage rug, you have that picture. Well, then we might be onto something, right? You've already shown me what you love, because you love it over and over and over again. So we all have those image banks, whether or not we're true design lovers or we sort of dabble in it and like it and want to improve our homes. We have something that we love. It's there. If you look through, it's there. Mm-hmm. You're saving it every time.
That's so true. That's so true. So what is next for Lori Paranjape, Mrs. Paranjape? What's next for you?
Well, there are some super secret things going on.
Yeah.
Are really exciting. There's some talk that I am in talks to do some licensing. So to design
cool.
some of my own pieces and home furnishings.
Yeah.
And also some collaborations with some favorite brands of mine to do more of a curated collection. So it wouldn't be a redesign of something. It would be taking a line that they have and curating it to say, these I think are tried and true. These are things I use in my spaces. These are the things that have been really successful for me. And these are, so we'll call that the Mrs. Paranjape collection. So there are some really exciting opportunities for me in that avenue right now. And that is something that I'm sort of managing on side in my free time. Ha ha ha. But because my day job is designing these spectacular houses. So, and what's happening on that horizon is it just seems like every project is more spectacular than the one before. And people are entrusting me with their amazing homes and these, primary, secondary residences they're so excited about, and they're asking for my help to help design and build them. So that piece of what's going on is so exciting.
So, Lori, when you're working, what's that one time? Describe to me that one time that you're just like, oh my gosh, I love my job. Like, what are you doing? What's like your favorite thing about your job?
Well, I don't know if you read my my profile on Instagram. It says inspiration is my drug of choice, and what that means to me is in the dirty drug sense, that when I have that feeling, when I'm talking to someone or researching for someone or working on someone's project or going through their plans, and I get that moment of, I know what we can do. I've got it. That moment, that's what I live. That is my drug.
Yeah.
It is that feeling that washes over me of inspiration, where something clicks and something comes together, and it's the perfect client and the perfect family and the perfect scenario, and it all makes sense. That's the moment I'm going to use that. And I'm sort of I take my own advice. I look at my own images and I look at everyone's images. I'm learning from everyone every day. I'm using my Instagram feed as a master's degree in design, and learning from these amazingly talented people who are producing beautiful work that I get to see and learn from and be inspired by. And I'm storing all of that away in file in my head. And I'm just keeping it. And there will be a moment when I get that rush of inspiration that says, that gorgeous idea someone had, I bet I could convert that and make a vanity in the bathroom. And on top of the vanity, I can do this. And I'm taking something that exists and recreating it to be something that works in a particular space. And that's, I love that.
Yeah.
That feeling is my most favorite feeling.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So tell me, what is your favorite app? Like on your phone? Oh, it's probably Instagram.
I was going to say, is it a cop-out to tell you it's Instagram? Because my battery percentage dedication would tell you it's Instagram.
Yeah.
Because that is where I communicate with the people who are kind of following along with my journey, and the people who inspire me, and friends and clients. And so I'm there a lot. You can find me there a lot.
Are you doing Instagram stories as well? I think I might have seen. Don't you love those? Those are fun to watch and fun to see.
I love them so much, and my teenage daughter might love them less when I do them.
When you do them, yeah.
When she sees that I'm doing this, she'll say, "Oh, mama, I saw your stories." But I do love it makes me feel very connected to followers who are sort of in there with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a way for me. My feeling is on Instagram, the imagery that I put on my feed is typically pretty polished. It is a carefully curated, styled image of project complete.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram stories is where you get the real deal. Instagram stories is me walking to a job site that's dusty and messy and awful, and me saying, well, that is not what I look like. I'm going to need to redesign this, and that needs to change, and looks like I need to call the framers back. Or, the real in the trenches day to day, sometimes it's just a reflection of a day that didn't go my way that day, or a success. And I can share a success that's not I don't love a screenshot of someone complimenting me and putting it on my page. But it might be a success that I share in stories that says, y'all were really sweet to me today.
Aww,
and that's a really nice thing to say. And it's a chance for me to talk. It is perfect. It's perfectly imperfect in stories. The page, I like to be pretty perfect. And it's not perfect, but I like it to be pretty perfect. But the stories is the real deal. That's where you get the goods.
Yeah, I do love stories. They're the behind the scenes, and it's just, you can't really polish them you can. I use filters. I have to admit, I do have to use a filter because I don't look like Landon. Living with Landon, if y'all follow her, I don't look like her, so I have to use those filters. I love the ones with the halo and the light shining down on my dark circles under my eyes. But anyway, but I do love those.
If anybody who's listening watches my stories, you know that a lot of times my stories are either in my car when I'm about to go into an appointment, or they're in my bed as I'm sort of winding down my day, and they get a little bit of a recap. And I'm in my PJs in my room, just having a conversation, and it's not always pretty. And, I'll talk about the wrinkles on my forehead and why am I not getting regular Botox, and, all of these very sort of mundane, silly, anecdotes. But it does make me feel connected to the people who are following with the beauty, because there's a lot that goes into that perfect photo that I post.
Yeah. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to ask you a few questions before we go.
Yes.
What designer do you admire?
Oh my gosh, that's the hardest question ever, because there's so many brilliant.
Tell me three.
Chango & Co. out of California does brilliant work. Capito Interiors out of New York, brilliant work. Austin Bean I believe they're in Texas. I could go on and on. I mean, they blow my mind daily.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. And what are your 3 favorite things?
My 3 favorite things. No disclaimers. I think just my 3 favorite things.
3 favorite things that you're just like, you're telling your girlfriends, like, you got to try this, or.
Wow.
It can be anything.
Okay. I'm going to go Numb by Shampoo.
Okay.
It's a life changer. Dry shampoo. Got to have it. Number 2,
what kind do you
my
use?
family.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I use whatever is on sale. I'm not a purist. I'm not a product junkie. I am not buying all I'm not investing a ton of money into that stuff. I'm putting it into my house. But it's my family. I know that feels like a cop-out, but they're great. So that would be my family. And then the third, I'm going to go my design community. And that covers a lot. It covers the people who interact with me on Instagram. It covers people like you who support designers and creatives and share women-owned businesses and stories and struggle and success. And my team at work who cheer on commiserate in my failures, and we pick up and start all over again. So I would be nothing without that community, because I never would have had the bravery to do it on my own. So,
yeah. And one last question, Lori, what is your favorite Nashville restaurant?
Nashville is ridiculously spectacular in the food genre.
Yeah.
There are so many delicious things, but I'm going to go not brand new. I'm going to go Rolf Daughters in Germantown, and they are handmade pastas and locally sourced things that go in pastas, and it is not like the pasta that I make.
Really? It's good pasta, huh?
Love it. It is. I mean, there's beautiful food in Nashville. There's fun food in Nashville. There's all sorts of things. This is yummy food. It's yummy.
What dish do you get when you go there?
Well, they're ever changing, and we'll go and order 5 or 6 dishes, because it's a fair portion, and you won't taste them all and share. But squid ink pasta, and they'll have a pork topped something delicious in a cream sauce, and just whatever they have come up with, I'll take it, and it will be delicious.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to have to try that. I did not know they made their own pastas. I'll have to try that.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Well, Lori, thank you so much for coming on. This has been so fun getting to know you and hear all about what you do and your drug of choice. I love that. Love that. Excellent.
Thank you so much. And thanks for your interest in, like I said, thanks for being supportive of small business owners and women in business. And we're out there, we're working hard, and it's nice to have people like you who are supporting all these small industries who are working their tails off out there.
Oh gosh, she was so sweet. Wasn't she great? I loved that she is just so real. Her determination to live her dream was so inspiring to me, and I hope it was for you too. If you want to see more of her designs or connect with Lori, visit her on her website or Instagram. I hope that you found something helpful or inspiring in this show. If so, I'd love to hear about it. So find me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at Corrine Sandifer and let me know what you loved. Today's show was sponsored by Audible, and music is by Ben Sound. Please consider supporting Rising Stories podcast by purchasing books and products mentioned on the show with the links provided in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and keep rising in your story.